John Quincy Adams was born on July 11, 1767 in Braintree, Massachusetts. His father served in the Continental Congress and helped draft the Declaration of Independence. John accompanied his father in the envoy of the Revolutionary American government. Later on, John Quincy Adams lived in Paris, Amsterdam, and St. Petersburg for 7 years. Adams was educated at Harvard College and his religion is Unitarian. Adams was a lawyer, senator, and a diplomat before he was president. John Quincy Adams was a Federalist and a Republican. John Quincy Adams supported the role of the federal government in the sponsorship of projects and institutions designed to improve the condition of society. He supported the American system, which was first proposed by Henry Clay, who was the Speaker of the House. Both Adams and Clay believed that a factory-based northern economy would provide markets for southern cotton and western foodstuffs. The South and West would purchase northern manufactured goods. President Adams presented a program for the creation of a national market that included roads, canals, a national university, a national astronomical observatory, and other initiatives in his first annual message to Congress. The congressman and supporters had trouble with his proposals. They said that Adams was not entitled to act as though he had received a national mandate for action. Some said that his internal improvements would benefit some parts of the nation and bring the federal government into regional affairs. John Quincy Adams' administration achieved a mixed record in foreign affairs during his presidency. He'd opened up trade through commercial treaties with a variety of nations, which granted the United States to reciprocal trading rights. President Adams was prevented from resolving the ongoing issue of trade with the British West Indies, and he was to be denied if he had any mark of success of his efforts. Adams had resolved many foreign affairs issues that might have engaged him as president when he served as Monroe's Secretary of State. John Quincy Adams was weakened in his leadership potential as a result of the election of 1824. Adams failed as a president principally because he was a poor politician in a day and age when politics had begun to matter more. He was out of touch with political reality. Adams had a public career before and after his White House years. As a diplomat, he set his essential marks of American foreign policy: freedom of the seas, a halt to further European colonization in the Western Hemisphere, continental expansion, reciprocal trade, and isolationism from European affairs. His skills as an international diplomat ushered in 2 generations of peace with Europe.
Ladies and gentlemen, get ready for a brawl like nothing America has seen before. The election of 1824. In this corner, at 5'7", from Harvard University, son of our second president, author of the Monroe Doctrine, and cranky in 7 languages, John Quincy Adams. And in this corner, he's rough, he's tough. He was born in a log cabin and never went to college. Winner of more than a dozen duels, he's the hero of the War of 1812. Old Hickory himself, Andrew Jackson.
Unfortunately for Jackson, there were candidates in the other 2 corners as well. Jackson got the most votes, but he didn't win the presidency. To win the presidency, the Constitution required that he win at least half the vote. But with 4 candidates this time, no one had won half the vote. The House of Representatives, led by Henry Clay, acted as referee, and Adams was declared the winner. Why? Well, Adams promised to make Henry Clay his Secretary of State, and in return, Clay gave his support to Adams, tipping the scales in Adams' favor. At that time, being Secretary of State pretty much meant you'd end up being president soon. Sweet deal for Clay, right? You've heard of President Clay? Nope. Sorry, Clay. But President Adams was happy, and he was a go-getter, up every morning at 5 a.m. reading from the Bible. Then before work, he'd take a walk, or was even known to swim naked in the Potomac. Adams was formal and proper and seemed more like a Bible-reading guy than a skinny-dipping guy. He also seemed like a guy who could get stuff done as president. So much for appearances. Two people stood in his way. Andrew Jackson, who thought Adams had stolen the election in a corrupt bargain with Clay. And well, Adams himself. He was so self-righteous, stubborn, and irritable that even some of his friends didn't support his plans. Adams famously said,
"The four most miserable years of my life were my 4 years in the presidency."
Fortunately for Adams, he lost the presidency in 1828 and went on to enjoy a career in the House of Representatives.
John Quincy Adams was a great thinker and diplomat and a great congressman. He was not good at persuading people, bringing them over to his side, which is what a president needs to do oftentimes.
As president, he may not have been a lover or a fighter, but in the end, he turned out to be a dedicated public servant and a guy who really liked to skinny dip.
Mr. President, good heavens!